go to YouTube. It's probably stupid. Okay. Got to go to YouTube Studio. Got to go to Content. Got to go to Live. There at this current live, go to Control Room. There we go. We have 0 people watching because I just got kicked off. And click that on live chat. Okay, they're back. So, those of you jumping back in and joining us, we had like a power flicker and it knocked my internet out and I had to wait for it to reboot. So I'm back with 2 people watching. So I will go back to the old stream chat. I still have that up there. I'll start from there. I'll try to get to this chat after that. Okay? All right. So, boom. Ron Rose says, laughing late, no joke. Nonamont says, tech saves the market again. Lone Wolf says second, but he was third. Ron Rose, I'd become a curmudgeon. GME is killing my motivation. It'd be nice if GME made news and the stock price reacted positively to that news for once. Like, it does for everybody else. But if GME announces something, then it's, short the hell out of them. That's what they're there for. Just destroy. Yeah. Nonamont says at this rate, not even tariffs would bring us back to reality. Yep. And Nonamont says game plan for tomorrow, last day before tariffs. I may go for some puts for Friday. Just do a little gamble on that. See where it goes. Nonamont says South Korea already called BS on Trump. Yeah, Trump has so far 3 of these trade deals in a row has proven to just be lying to people. So like, oh, we got this deal with Japan, and then Japan's like, no, we don't. And then he says, oh, I have this deal with the EU, and the EU's like, no, we don't. So now he says it with Korea. It does not behoove anybody to make a deal with Trump, because if you do, you end up like Vietnam, where Vietnam never had any tariffs on U.S. goods whatsoever. And we rewarded them by slapping a 20% tariff on. The supposed Japanese deal, Japan puts no tariffs on us. We slap them with 15% tariff. The EU deal, exactly the same, no tariffs. We slap them with 15% tariffs. We already have a trade deal with South Korea that made tariffs illegal. And supposedly we make a new trade deal that makes it so they can't tariff our goods, but we're going to tariff all of their goods 15%. No. We're just slapping people around at this point and calling them names. This is stupid. It's really dumb. We're just going to vaporize our ability to sell our products to the rest of the world. We're going to brain drain ourselves. It's all just so silly. It is silly willy is where we are. Silly willy land. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. U.S. economy grew 3%. However, lots of companies imported in quarter 1 to bear the tariffs. Quarter 2, they can sell those products while importing less. This is true. Their warehouses are full, so they aren't spending any money to buy things. And so it grew by 3%. I do think some of the numbers that Trump is throwing out there are very suspect. We saw it last month when he claimed there's like 140,000 jobs, and it turns out we lost 30,000. We just had a major trucking company declare bankruptcy today, and several more expected to declare bankruptcy in the next couple of weeks. The retailers, Walmart's, Amazon, etc., like, we're going to start, passing the cost on to the buyers, and prices are just going to go up. Tourism is way down. Vegas is empty, like ghost town empty. 10% occupancy in major hotels in Vegas. Like, it is bad. People have canceled their conventions because their European members won't come. We're like slowly erasing, America from the pop culture and in the forefront of people's minds. It's I think the 3% is probably beyond generous and likely fudged. The Fed said they're not raising rates, which totally makes sense. So the Senate got out of committee and to everybody else passed a bill that will ban trading by members of Congress and the president and his family and vice president. Trump is lobbying hard for Congress to not pass this bill. At the same time, Trump says he wants to charge Nancy Pelosi with insider trading. So which is it, you clown? Like, is Nancy Pelosi, what's she doing wrong? What she's doing is not any different than what you're doing, Mr. Trump. We know that you gave insider information to big-time billionaires at the White House the day you decided to recant the tariffs, and they made billions off of you. That's insider trading, dude. So do you think people shouldn't be allowed to do that? Which obviously you're lobbying against that, so you think they should be able to do all the insider trading they want, or do you think they should just do all the insider trading they want? When you're an autocrat, it's a crime if you do it, but it's okay if I do it. And that's basically one of the rules of autocracy. They can do all the crime they want because they're in charge. And all their friends can do all the crime they want because their fealties pledged to you. But if they break their loyalty, then you can bust them for the crimes that both of you have been doing, because that's, the double standard. That's what Trump is going for here. He wants the double standard rather than have ethics or morals or the conscience or anything else. So, Kelly Reed really want to average those two out, so clearly slow down, but better than expected. I'm talking about quarter one, quarter two, yeah. Lone Wolf, if you had choice of Moas or Trump getting elected for a third term, what would you choose? Moas? Why would I choose Trump getting elected for a third term? Brendan Wells, sub BBBY, sub No Labs. No Labs meeting is tomorrow. BBBY, we find out Friday what's happening. Maybe by the time we do my show Friday afternoon, we will know if cash is in people's accounts with the bonds or whatnot. Maybe we're Papa Martinelli. Maybe we're just back to thumb twiddling again. I am not entirely sure. So, Ron Rose, having a drink, lost at the blackjack table. I asked AI, could the card shuffle machine be stacking the deck? Lost track of how many 21s the dealer got. Seems suspicious. Seems like it could... I don't see anything beyond that. G-Font, not sure if you saw it, but leaked Bank of America was dangerously close to failing in 2023. Came out at the Capital Framework for Large Banks conference held by the Fed. Ooh. Let's see here. I gotta put this one, that one, and slide you into there. Can I? There we go. Oops. There we go. Okay. Was a big U.S. bank close to collapse in 2023? PNC's Bill Demchek says it was, and that suggests he was talking about Bank of America. Ooh. Wait, let's Google Earth still. Can we Google Earth? There we go. Okay. Panel on informed U.S. bank capital rules were meandering towards a predictable conclusion on July 22nd. One member of the audience decided to weigh in. The room had heard a string of speakers arguing that the Federal Reserve's methodology for assessing systemic risk had inflated a capital surcharge for the largest U.S. banks when the moderator collected one final question from the floor. Crap, I gotta register. God damn it. Anyway, didn't we talk about this in 2023 that they were closing branches like crazy and laying staff off, and it seemed like they were on the brink? Turns out we were right. Hey, look at that. We were right. So there you go. All right. Cool. And Rose Moon, Houston ever played Balatro? No. Is that the game that everyone's addicted to on their phones and they can't stop talking about Balatro and making people play Balatro? Because I've heard of it. And I had a coworker literally lose his job because he wouldn't stop playing on his phone, and it turned out it was Balatro. So, no, I've not played. I don't like having lots of vices, so I don't know if I'll play that. First name, hi Houston. Jason Blackwell, hey Houston. I saw Cheese at the gym. He was shredded. Ha ha. Why Tyler? Going to Houston for the first time this weekend. What a terrible time of year to go to Houston. Hurricane season. It's 97 degrees outside with 99% humidity. It's like standing inside someone's mouth. Have fun though. The food's really great. There's some really great like soul food and southern cooking in Houston. It's delicious. Other than that, the city should not exist. It's built on top of a swamp that all it does is flood all the time. Seapaw, Gino Suarez, welcome back. Home run. Wait, Gino, did the trade happen? What? Oh crap! 1 hour ago, Seattle Mariners are in agreement on a deal to acquire third baseman Eugenio Suarez from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Sources tell ESPN the trade is pending medical review. Yes! Fantastic. Yes. We should never have gotten rid of him in the first place. If we had Eugenio Suarez for the Mariners at third base, and all the Europeans are in here right now, and they're like, God damn it. But if we had Suarez at third base last season, his 100 RBIs would have been enough to push the Mariners in the playoffs alone. And if we have like a producing first base and third base now, as well as like the hottest hitting catcher in history, oh my goodness. Mariners will absolutely just start to rake, and they're making the playoffs. Finally. Pitching just needs to stay healthy. They need to get two more closers, probably. Two more relief pitchers. And then they're set. So we got one more day. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, I believe, is the end of the trade deadline. So we'll see what we get. Maybe we'll pick someone off waivers in August. I don't know. But I picked up a pitcher earlier today who's a good reliever, solid reliever, better than some that we have. So, all right. Okay. Way to go, Mariners. Finally. Never should have gotten rid of that man. Absolute gold glove caliber third baseman. Yeah, he strikes out a lot, but he just hits dingers and knocks people in. Tier Bloom, happy birthday, Houston. I don't know how much longer I should believe that something will happen with GME BBBY. The fact is, no one has really made any profits for us this year. I'm just too tired. I get it, which is why they need to pull the trigger on something, and why shouldn't they do it on Friday? If all this hype and all the code people are reading, and they're seeing all the flags on their bonds and their E-Trade accounts and whatnot, and nothing happens this Friday, I think you're going to have just like heartbreak just all over the place. So they need to just get it done. Antonio Baez, popping some popcorn. Rose Productions. What have you heard about the BlackRock shooter being possibly MK Ultra connection? That perhaps this was a Saturn Death Cult hit. I have heard nothing about that until I read your thing. What I've read is that he had a lot of mental problems, and those mental problems seem to have started when he got his bell rung really bad playing high school football. So apparently he went to that building to go shoot a bunch of NFL people, and this got off at the wrong floor. He happened to accidentally Luigi, the executive in charge of Blackstone's horrible, evil real estate arm, which has been buying up single-family residences across the country and just jacking up rent like crazy. So, I mean, that's like accidentally rolling a 7 or something. I don't know. But yeah, his brain was broken for sure. Had access to a gun because this is America, and just, his solution was to start blowing people away, which is how we solve our problems here. So the fact that he accidentally got a good hit on that, well, there it is. Kelly Reed. Anyone's getting sick of people dying or having climate change affect our lives and living poor wages, while the rich got people to believe that if you follow a religion and serve quietly, when you die, you will be rewarded with all luxuries they currently live. Yeah. It is definitely a giant rug pull that they've managed to do. rich people, for the most part, are weirdos. And there's like different levels of rich. There's, I've got a nice waterfront home. I'm able to like spend time with my family, whatever. And then there's like weirdo billionaire rich, where you are surrounded by security details. You can't pop out in public without fear of like being kidnapped or whatever. That type of rich, I think, breaks people in a way that human brains were never meant to experience. And they are in a bubble with other people who are that rich, and they don't really live outside of that. I mean, this is a tale as old as time. You got the Prince and the Pauper and Aladdin, and like when poor people experience what being rich is like, and rich people go see how the other half lived, there's a huge like, oh my God, this is what you've been doing, and yeah, they definitely want to protect it. They want to pretend like, oh, if you work really hard, you can get to where I am. And 95% of them inherited everything they have. And most of the other 5%, their rich parents were the investors in what they had. And you got your Mitt Romney, who took out a small $1 million loan from his dad in the 1970s. Or Donald Trump, who inherited $400 million in an entire real estate empire from his father. Or Elon Musk, whose dad had the largest engineering firm in Africa. And he got driven to his private school in a Rolls Royce every day, and his dad was an angel investor in his tech company, right? Bill Gates' dad had the largest law firm in the world, K&L Gates. His mom was on the board at United Way with the CEO of IBM. Bill Gates' dad gave him a bunch of money. He went out and bought DOS. He didn't make DOS, he bought it. And then he sold DOS to IBM through his mother. So like, it's all about the connections you have and the rich people, and the networking. And once you're in that club, the club that can get you into Harvard and get your network and get you into Skull and Bones at Yale and whatnot, you're there to stay, baby. You're one of them. And so you won't know what it's like to go struggle. There's a thing I read. They polled a bunch of rich people in New York, and they asked them what a middle-class salary was. And they said between $400,000 and $800,000 was middle class. So if you make between $400,000 and $800,000 a year, in their minds, that's so poor, you would be middle class. When in fact, if you make between $400,000 and $800,000 a year, you're in the 1%. So they don't know what it takes to survive. They have no idea. The mortgage payments on their apartments and their homes are more than you make in a year. So they're writing a check for their brownstone in New York, and that's more than you make in a year for just their mortgage payment. So yeah, they will gladly explain to you about, if you're just good and you just work real hard, you'll be rewarded either with, a big home like mine or in the afterlife for being a good person. And it definitely placates the masses for sure. I'll get punished. Hell for me, even though I'm living the life and going wherever I want to go and experiencing all the experiences. I guess I'm going to have to do a total domination for this. Pay the cost, right? It's Rift Studios. That sweet After Dark intro is my jam. Iggy Lemon. Kelly Reed. Marx once said, religion is the opium of the people. It's a sign of the oppressed creature, the heart of the heartless world, and the soul of our soulless condition. Frozen Productions. Did the Russian nuclear submarine base get damaged from the tsunami? Putin isn't saying a word, which makes you think something did happen at the base. Yeah, I was kind of going over that before the last video crapped out. And now I can go to our stream, which we're on right now, and go from there. Okay. Chongqing is first on the second stream. Wormfall is second on the second stream. Frozen Productions says he's second, but he's actually third. Lone Wolf. If you had choice of Moas or Trump getting elected for a third term, what would you choose? Moas. 100%. Jason Blackwell. Hey, Houston. I saw cheese. Oh, wait. Did I read these ones already? God damn it. Make me read them all over again. Urgh. Okay. Cheese was shredded. Warrior's here. Judgment Teddy is happy birthdaying. Spencer's going on. Stuart Longley, I am here. Spencer says, oh snap. Teresa Amendola, cool shirt. Yes, it is. Boop, boop, magnet. Oh, I'll erase your hard drive. You put it in my pocket. Aaron, Houston. Oh, sorry, Kid Kadian first. Boo, no double intro. Does it count if the first stream freezes? Well, I guess, we may as well just... Right? Okay. Wait. Off. Got to I almost forgot. I was like, I've already drank half my water and I'm only half an hour into this thing. It's been a warm one. Monkey and I spent a lot of time in the sunshine today. Aaron, Houston. So Fidelity expelled me from their platform with no reason. When I called, told me it's because every week I kept buying 5 shares of Finger. That stock was restricted. They don't like me buying that stock. That's a crazy reason to ban somebody for spending like $10 on stock a week. How dare you? Your $11.38 is not appreciated here. That's weird. That's very weird. Peachy Sunday. Happy birthday. Are you going to play Amazon on earnings? No. I'll probably do spy puts. Be my guess. That's what I'm leaning towards. Aaron, so my account is terminated. I can't buy anything. Only liquidate. I am not selling anything. F them is my reaction. It's very, very weird reaction from them, for sure. I don't understand at all. Wormfall. Happy birthday, Houston. Will we ever see interest rates as low as we had during COVID times? If so, what would need to be the catalyst to get us there? Full-blown economic collapse and the elimination of tariffs. That's probably the only way we would get that. Because tariffs are causing inflation, so they're not going to lower interest rates arbitrarily with that inflation force mechanism going on. In the economy, until the economy collapses, you won't get any rate cuts. So I think you got to wait for the economy to collapse and inflation to temper out, and then they can cut rates. Until then, maybe like the 1980s when the Fed had to raise rates to like 20% to just crush everyone's will, and then they could go from there. Gideon, no stream for you. Nut Muffin. Hey, the name's Nut Muffin. What you think of INTC? I think nothing of INTC. Let's find out. INTC. Intel. Well, Intel's way down. They were at $60+ back in 2021. They had a little hustle and bustle in December of 2023, and it's basically been downhill ever since then. So, they're at 65, and now they're hovering around $20 right now. Intel fired a bunch of competent people and then rested on their laurels. And then they came out with some faulty products and they didn't jump into the AI bandwagon in time. So their chips, which do great for computer processing and stuff like that, don't work well for these large language models, graphic processing units, etc. And they didn't really focus on that. My brother Gardner, after he worked at Oakley, Intel brought him in to work on this crazy project, which produced these augmented reality glasses. And they had a laser that would go in the bridge on either side and fire a laser beam basically into your brain, into the back of your retina. And you would have a permanent heads-up display wherever you looked. So you could read things. And it allowed people to look and do what they wanted to do, as well as get updates and weather and scrolling, and it was really crazy technology. They spent over $1 billion on it. They did hundreds and hundreds of patents. And they released this YouTube video, be like, "This is the cool technology that's coming to you." My brother's like, "Check this shit out. This is so awesome." And then the day after they released the YouTube video, they canceled the program and fired everybody after spending over $1 billion on research and development. And my brother was like, "The culture at Intel is kind of messed up." He basically decided if he was going to work there a long time, they were never going to get another one of his ideas. When he was at Oakley and he came up with an idea that got patented, he got a giant bonus. He got, royalties and all sorts of things. They had parties like, "Woo, you got a patent, yeah!" So you all of a sudden it's like, "Hey, I'm rewarded for like doing research and doing this awesome engineering." At Intel, he would get a patent and they gave him a T-shirt. Like, this is a fundamental, amazing patent that is in technology that will be used definitely like military contracts in the future, if not consumer products. And his reward was a T-shirt. And he was like, "Fuck this. This is a company that does hundreds of billions of dollars in business, and I get a T-shirt for getting a patent for their patent portfolio." So he was not. I don't think he was too thrilled with the culture at Intel at the time. I think he had a lot of fun doing the project itself, but when they like canceled the program, fired everybody, he was like, "Never again." So, yeah. But Intel, I mean, they still have the dominant market share of consumer PCs and laptops and all that stuff. I don't know if they've got any R&D going into producing anything AI related, which is where the market wants everything to go. So until they do, meh. Yeah. Stephanie L. Super chats. "Hola, my friend. Are you invested in WBO? Northwest Biotherapeutics?" That's what they're called, right? "I have many shares. Things are heating up. Do you know if the UK approves it? If the FDA will soon follow?" It doesn't hurt their cause. Iggy sends me lots of stuff on NWBO. Apparently their drug is like shrinking tumors for sure. Like just pinpointing and shrinking. A lot of other biotechs have come out with similar results and they just get destroyed by shorts. I don't know if the shorts are coming from biotech things or not, but it seems that the shorts really do not like the fact that companies can kill cancer and then ruin pharmaceutical companies' future profits on chemo and whatnot. I do not have NWBO. I kind of wish I had some, but I don't have any at the moment. I've been kind of keeping up on them in passing. But yeah, it seems like if UK approves their drug and they start shrinking tumors, I don't see why the FDA wouldn't follow suit, or the rest of Europe. So why not? Seems like a pretty solid plan on their part. So I hope it works out for you. Because fuck cancer, right? Three-legged dog? Wouldn't it be great if I could just give you some sort of drug and your cancer would just vanish and you wouldn't have to lose your leg? That'd be fantastic. What about you, fat guy? You got a lot going on down there, huh? You got a lot going down there. You got a lot of your belly. Is your belly? Is your belly going on? Is your boobity? Is your boo? Okay. Messing with the fat boy. Aaron says truffles is an implosion within because in the end the public pays for the tariffs. Oh, I think he wrote truffles, but he meant tariffs. Okay. We are shooting ourselves in the foot. Yeah. It's silly. Is my stream crashing again? Oh my gosh. Hope not. I am getting please use keyframe frequency 4 seconds or less. Current keyframes are not being sent often enough, just causing I don't know what even this means. What does this even mean? Not being sent, causing buffering. Current keyframes frequency 8.3 seconds. Note that ingestion errors can cause group of pictures sizes. YouTube, I don't know what the hell this means. This warning you're giving me, it means nothing to me. I don't know what keyframe is. I don't know what frequency of 4 seconds or less means. I don't know what any of that means at all. for any of this. So frequency. Nope, that's for ads. So I guess I'll close that. Bruh, I don't know. I don't know what any of that means, dude. Stream settings. It says I can't fix anything in here, so I just will go to analytics, right? There we go. So I might be freezing up over you guys. I might be doing some max headrooming. I've never, since I moved, I've not had problems like this before, so I don't know if stuff is going on or not. Brennewell, sub BBBY, sub No Labs, new Bed Bath & Beyond stores. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond is going to be going back to physical locations. This is Overstock, who bought Bed Bath & Beyond and bought Baby, etc. The IP. They're going back to physical locations because they're discovering that people like to touch towels when they buy them. A lot of purchasing for stuff like Bed Bath & Beyond type products is college kids move into their dorms. They swing by the store, they pick up toothbrush holder and a bath mat and some towels and some bed sheets, and they're done for the day. They're discovering that people really aren't apt to be like, oh man, I just moved into a place. Let me wait a couple of days for the shipping to arrive and then I can actually go to bed on my bed. No, they go out and they just buy some bed sheets now and then they use them that day. So I think moving into physical locations again is a very good idea. I don't know if they have the people behind it all who can effectively do it. Know what I mean, monkey? Know what I mean? Like, they've a whole bunch of online people, but I don't know if they have the store people. And hopefully pick them all up. I do hope, this is what I hope, in Houston's perfect world of a BBBY play, is there's a reverse merger into GameStop, right? And you get a whole bunch of GameStop shares, Teddy shares, whatever, cash, yada, 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 yada. There'll be $500 million left over. And that $500 million left over is used for a hostile takeover of Beyond. And just absorb all their IP and all their businesses, and you just put it under that umbrella and go from there. And then now you're a juggernaut. Now you're a juggernaut who, you can report under that stock ticker, hey, look, we gained $1 billion or $2 billion in sales. And all of a sudden the market goes, right? So we are a juggernaut. We can do whatever the hell we want and screw the rest of you. And that is where I hope something like this comes from. So then we can own T0, we can own Baby, we can own all that stuff, all under the umbrella. They got the money for it. I mean, you can buy Beyond for about $500 million and have some pretty crazy IP from that. And you get almost $10 billion over on the GME side. So why not? Why not do that? 54, Houston Meta crush earnings. That's a terrible sign for society. 3.4 billion daily losers, botflation. We are just inflating numbers artificially. Free money with no oversight or real value. Yeah. I also read something about the AI department that they were offering individuals, their AI department, up to $100 million a year compensation. And some of those scientists and engineers were like, no thanks. Like one dude, they offered a 10-year contract, so $1 billion in pay. And he was like, nah. What? Insane. I just, like, athletes will get those kind of contracts. Movie stars will get that kind of contracts. It's wild to me. So, yeah, Meta also just got $16 billion from the government, and you got me, dude. You got me. Aaron also says, Houston, so I am educating myself algebra and statistics. I want to go back to school after 6 years to get a degree in statistics, but I look at my old notes. I am just like, crap, I knew this stuff. Now I can't remember almost all of it. Math is like going to the gym. You go to the gym every day. You're curling, I don't know, 50, 70 pounds, whatever, you're big, buff, awesome thing. And then you take 3 months off, right? And you go back to the gym, you're like, oh, I'm going to curl 70 pounds. And your body's like, no, because your muscles have atrophied. Math is the same way. You don't use it, you lose it. Like, I do not have all the math I learned in my undergraduate in my head anymore. I don't. I can look at some equations and go, yeah, that looks familiar. But going about the steps to solving a partial differential equation, no, I got to take that class all over again because I've not been working that muscle. It's gone. It is gone. So yeah, you got to use it or you lose it. That was one of the big things when I was teaching at the Art Institute. I had a lot of students who were non-traditional students. So they may have been in the military career. Sometimes, they did their 4 years, got their GI Bill, whatever. Sometimes they're in for 20 plus years and they got out and they're getting their degree and they're now 38 years old, 40 years old. And they were not necessarily math people. If you're taking an algebra class at an art college, you're at the art college because math is not your thing, and you just got to take the algebra class because they won't let you graduate otherwise. So every single student would come up to me first day of class. Teach the class, whatever, have a little, quiet time. They come up to me at some point and be like, I got to let you know, I am really bad at math and I don't remember anything. I go, okay, no problem. And the next student comes to me, say the exact same thing. Next student comes, say the exact same thing. They would do it very quietly, be like, I just want to let you know that I suck at math. And at the end of class, I'd be like, okay, raise your hand if you came up to me and told me that you're bad at math. And like the entire class raised their hand. I'm like, see? You are in this school because you're not a math person. And if you were a math person, it's been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years since you had to do any of this stuff. And it seems like a foreign language with some vague familiarity. Like beyond the multiplication tables, I don't expect you to remember much. The oldest student I had this teeny tiny little 4'9" grandmother from Moldova. And she was a fashion major. And she was, I want to say 87 years old. And this woman was just this itty bitty thing. And she would come in with dressed to the nines, like a leather beret she made and a fantastic duster and leather pants or something. I love this lady. And she had literally not done math in 70 years. Her math class, last math class was 70 years ago. So this is 2018. So 1948 was the last time she had done a math class. 1948, right? So these kids come up to me, they're like, it's been 4 years since I did any math. I'm like, shut up. It's been 70 years since Olga over here has done shit, and she's fine. You're going to be fine. So you just go, you do some warm-up classes, you learn how to factor some things again, you learn how to graph a parabola, and it starts coming back, and it starts getting really easy to learn because back there somewhere, back there in those filing cabinets in the back of your head, you open a drawer and holy shit, there it is. You remember how to access it again. And so it's like jogging the memory. So it's like, you go back to the gym. You just got to start doing it again. And it's going to feel really sore the first couple of days. But then, you get those lactic acids getting cleared out of your body. You're getting used to that weight. You're taking the creatine and you're back at it again. So you just got to go do it. And that's the way it is. So go do it. You want to do statistics? Do statistics. Simple as that. Okay. Aaron's reading my university math books, doing problems on my own. That's probably, it's good practice. I want to go back to university for a second degree to find a job that pays. My history degree isn't helping. Yeah, history degrees will do that as somebody who's currently getting a history degree. I'm just doing it because I like learning the stuff. It's very expensive way to learn the stuff. Corporate Walnut. What are all the lines on the bottom of the ocean with Google Earth? Oh, we can go back to Google Earth here. Sugarty boink and flippity flop. Okay, so all these lines are fractures. So we got these zigzaggy lines. This is a spreading ridge. So this is where the conveyor belt of ocean rock is coming out from the mantle. These lines are fractures. This is just straight up splits in the ocean. And this is because we've got multiple plates at work here, right? So we have We have the giant Pacific Plate, which is a huge portion of the Earth. I mean, this is basically anything with these outside these deep trenches is all the Pacific Plate. The Pacific Plate has other things acting upon it. You've got North America trying to climb over it. You have also parts of North America trying to slide sideways. So basically, this line here is where the Juan de Fuca Plate meets the San Andreas Fault. So San Andreas Fault, comes from Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of California, works its way up through Inland Empire along the San Joaquin Valley, and then spits itself out in San Francisco, carves up through Point Reyes, through all these places, through Bodega Bay, and then slides up the coast and then pops out right here. And then basically this is, in a sense, a continuation of the San Andreas Fault. So as that chunk of Southern California works its way up, it basically works its way up and out as it goes. So that's it. That's the entirety of what that crack is. It is a giant split in the oceanic plate as a result of the meeting of the Pacific Plate and the Juan de Fuca Plate. Now, millions of years ago, before India here slammed into Asia and made the Himalaya mountains, this was a subduction zone. So we had the plate diving underneath North America here in California, building up big giant mountains. Big coastal range was basically what the Sierra Nevadas were. And then out here in the desert, you had lots and lots and lots of volcanoes. You can look down and you can see all of these black spots, all these basalt flows. These are all volcanoes from when this was a subduction zone, millions of years ago, 40 million years ago. These things were spitting out lava. Not only that, but it was doing so in Arizona. You can look down in Arizona and you can see, you got the same type of things going on here. It was spitting up volcanoes. Same things were happening in Nevada. I think I went to Tonopah not too long ago, which is Goldfield, Tonopah here. We had all these cinder cones and volcanics here in Tonopah. This was a subduction zone, and these were active volcanoes as a result of magma chambers popping up. But what's happened since then, since the smash of India into Asia, torqued the entire thing. The subduction zone kind of broke off, and now you can see where the Juan de Fuca Plate comes from the subduction zone off Central America. It feeds up and becomes this transverse fault through the Gulf of California, up through California proper, and then spits out here at near Mendocino, and then this fracture goes off into the ocean. So there's lots of fractures from this torquing that happened on the plates. These fractures probably all came from something similar. You can see they're all parallel to each other. So probably just like slam, torque, crack, 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 crack along all that. You can see fractures that spiral out from like French Polynesia. So we've got a big hot spot there, and there's probably all sorts of shit that breaks off on that stuff. Got fractures that come off of subduction zones in South Pacific. Not so much going on big off of the big subduction zones off of Japan and Saipan and whatnot, Marianas Trench, but there are a whole bunch of micro fractures inside the Philippine Sea. I can't remember the name of this plate. It might just be the Philippine Plate or something like that. It's a separate ocean plate from the Pacific Plate. You got, same thing happening out here in the Indian Ocean. You got the spreading ridge that comes down through the Indian Ocean, and you got fractures that come off of that as well. And tons of parallel fractures throughout the spreading ridge, which is the biggest spreading ridge in the world, is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge that goes basically from Antarctica, the plate of Antarctica, all the way up to the North Pole, essentially. So this spreading ridge is cracking apart North America and Europe and slices through Iceland, goes all the way down, all the way down. So in Iceland, there's actually a trench. Comes off right here, right by Reykjavik. You go out here, and this is literally the fault zone between Europe and North America. So you can go out and you can put one foot in Europe, and you can put one foot in North America. You can also scuba dive this trench along here. My little sister's done it. So, yeah, it's fun. It's neat. Good chance to do it. There's a picture of me standing there somewhere. So yeah, that's what those fractures are. It's just, rock. And you torque rock hard enough with giant continents moving around, and just cracks and breaks and moves and does its thing. So, ta-da. Walter Strata first? No, you were long way from first. DVOD09, thoughts on GME dark pool volume? Insane. Should be illegal. Should not be allowed to have dark pool volume at that level for anything ever at all. Should be 0% dark pool value. And I think it's them hiding the price and being evil. So, there. Lone Wolf, I worded that wrong. It's late. How about, would you want MOAS if it meant Trump getting reelected? No. I've said before, I would give up everything. I'd give up everything in my 401k. I would give up everything in my IRA. I give up everything in my investment accounts if we didn't have this piece of shit as president. I would gladly do away with all of it. Just instead, if Trump somehow gets a third term, we better have a fucking MOAS so I can get the hell out of here. And that's basically what it comes down to. Like, if he's gonna be here, I don't want to be here. So yeah. Southern Comfort, do you know of a good LiDAR radar free app? I don't know of any apps that do LiDAR or radar. LiDAR and radar is expensive. What are you doing, fat boy? Come over here bother me again? Okay. So no, I don't know of one at all. OMG, Heather Jonna. It's so bedtime coded right now. Arius Shadow. Bank of America was closing branches that survived the Great Depression was one talking point. I wonder what people will think of Bank of America going kaput as currency inflates with symbolic time. We talked about it back in 2023. We were talking about how basically Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citi, those are the three major banks that may not survive this. And the fact that they are somehow able to eke out and not get buried in 2023 is a wonder, because we lost a whole bunch of mid-level banks, Republic Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, etc. All just went puny pop. I'm impressed that somehow they survived. They're a shitty bank. They're an absolutely terrible. If you're banking with Bank of America, I have just pity on your soul. They will nickel and dime the crap out of you until you have nothing left. And somehow even then, they can't survive after just straight up stealing money from their customers, which is their entire business model. My little sister, Janelle, we adopted her when she was like a freshman, sophomore in high school. And she worked her ass off. She saved, throughout high school, she saved over $30,000 to help pay for college when she went off to college. And when she was getting ready for college, she discovered, she's not even 18 yet. She discovered that Bank of America was stealing like $300 a month from her. Just straight up just taken as a maintenance fee on the $30,000 that she had in her account. They were just stealing $300 a month from a child a child who's basically an emancipated minor trying to work and save so she can pay for college someday, right? They're just straight up stealing that from her. So I went in to the bank with her and I was like, give her her fucking money back. I'm like, well, it's just it's part. Like, no, she's a child. She has a free checking account, a student free checking account. Give her thousands of dollars back. You're just stealing money from a child. Well, it's just our policy. I don't give a shit about your policy. She has a free checking account. That means no fees, no maintenance, no whatever. She's got a shitload of money. She has no minimum. Like, they wanted to explain that she has to have a minimum of like $50,000. No, she doesn't. She's a child. She doesn't have to have a minimum of $50,000 in her account. This is not that type of account. Give her money back. And so basically I threw a tizzy my mother would have been proud of. And they agreed. Like, fine, we'll refund all our money. Gave her, I can't remember how much it was, but it was thousands of dollars back. And then when she did that, I said, okay, cool. Now give her a cashier's check for all that money and close her account. And they're like, what? So we closed her account and we took her to a new bank. I can't remember which bank we took her to, but she's now, it's almost 20 years on. It is 20 years on, actually. Yeah. You'll never find anybody in my family who will do banking with Bank of America. Fuck that. Absolutely just screwed a child over. Like, what kind of monster do you have to be to do that? So, yeah, screw those guys. If they die, they die. Oh, crap. There goes the chat there. Where am I going? OMG, Heather Jana. Let's not take the NYPD narrative about this guy at face value. Come on, Houston. I don't know. I did not read too much into what that guy did. I can't imagine that he purposefully went to the floor of the real estate company that owned the building and started blowing away people. It didn't seem like that. The dude from Nevada would be like, you know what? I'm going to go shoot some real estate people in New York. I don't get that. It seemed like the killing of the executive was in the lobby, and he just sort of smited some people in the lobby for the sake of doing that. And she just seemed to sort of just be there. Then he went to the 33rd floor, which seems like a very, like, you get an elevator, and you go, boop, 33rd floor, shong. It seemed like he had some purpose to get to the 33rd floor. Were the NFL ever in that floor? Did he just hit the wrong button? I don't know. There is history of mental illness on his side. That part is, I think, valid. But I don't know what his motives were. It's not super clear to me. OMG, Heather Jana, make rich people afraid again. Mm-hmm. Kikadian, oh my god, double intro. Yeah, man. Morton, hi. Norway is watching, 7:30 a.m. here. Well, good morning. It is past 11 p.m. here. Chris Jusik, what's all the talk about Amazon? The talk about Amazon has to do with this weird code that was found for an over-the-counter swap that used Amazon stock as a counterparty that triggers on the first and if Amazon is above $220 a share, which currently is $230 and change. And if that triggers, then from the code, it looks like people who have BBBY bonds get shares in another company, probably GameStop. People who have shares in BBBY get a pile of cash. So we will see what happens on the first and what Amazon stock is doing. So that's why everyone's paying attention to it right now. Umad, Houston, we have a problem. The perfect name for your show. Haha. Is there anyone else that has as rough a job going live as I do? Man. Okay. All right. Noms, Capitol Hill checking in. Well, hello, Capitol Hill late nighter. Online entities stream crashing again. I hope not. Aaron, I found an old physics math practice test. I am doing this test from 2017. I'm working on each problem. Got some right, some are wrong. The teacher back then put the answer key. I'm working on it. Good. Thank you for your story on math, Houston. Ticker symbol SRXH is doing 60-to-1 reverse split. Round up. If you buy one share, you can 60x your money. Where are the shares at? SRXH. And you know what? SRXH. SRX Health Solutions. So 42 cents right now, and they're doing a 60x reverse split. So it's going to go to $24. Not too shabby. Buy a share of that. 60 extra money. Not too shabby indeed. And Aaron, does Houston, does Google have a place where you can put a photo and it will tell you where? Something like Summon GeoGuessr? I know you can do like reverse photo search, and you can use things like TinEye. So it might be able to like go, hey, these photos are similar, and it might be able to tell you where. You can also, if you've got access to the metadata of the photo, sometimes it geotags it, and you can see where it's from. But outside of that, I don't know. Sarith Dikado, why Thailand attack my homeland country of Cambodia? It's all over a border. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with why there's a border dispute between the two. Um, so we've got Thailand here and Cambodia here. I don't know where the disputed border region is. Maybe I can look that up right now. Go here. Any type of border dispute, territory dispute between Cambodia and Thailand over certain areas of the shared border began in the 1950s, shortly after Cambodia's independence from France, and first censored ownership of the temple of Priya Vihir. Okay, so as a temple, Buddhist temple, let's see if we can pull the Buddhist temple up here. There's my Google Earth. Priya Vihir. Search. Oops. Priya Vihir. There we go. So, all right. So basically, there's the Priya Vihir province. There must be a temple somewhere around here that Thailand wants or claims they wanted, and Cambodia took, and now they're all angry about that. So that's, I guess, where it comes from. I don't know enough at all. This is a Wikipedia page. Let's read the Wikipedia page. We'll find out. Territorial dispute between Cambodia and Thailand over certain areas of their shared border began in the 1950s, shortly after Cambodia's independence from France, and first censored ownership of the temple Priya Vihir. The case was brought to the International Court of Justice, who declared 1962 in favor of Cambodia. The issue became dormant over the following decades as Cambodia fell into a civil war, but remained unresolved as sections of the country's borders were never jointly demarcated. The dispute erupted in open conflict in 2008, following Cambodia's nomination of the temple as UNESCO World Heritage Site, and Thai protesters attacking their government over the issue. The clashes led to a request for clarification from the ICJ, which was decided in 2013. During this round of conflict, disputes also arose over other overlapping border areas, including those around ancient Khmer temples of Prasat Muin Thom. Sorry, forgive me, I'm probably butchering all his names, and Prasat Karebi. The conflict subsided over a decade until it erupted again in 2025, with the worst fighting since the dispute began. The dispute mostly stems from Franco-Siamese treaties of 1904 and 1907, which defined a final boundary between Siam, as Thailand was known then, and French Indochina, the borders which were inherited by Cambodia, while the treaty defined the relevant segment of the boundary along the watershed line of the Dang Krek Mountains. A demarcation of the border by French surveyors produced maps that deviated from the line of the now disputed areas, including around the Priya Vihar temple. While Thailand argued at the ICJ that it never approved the maps, and the temple's location on a cliff, more accessible from the Thai side, indicated it was on Thai territory. The ICJ decided in favor of Cambodia, largely based on the fact that Siam never officially protested the map or claimed ownership of the temple while it was under French control. Cambodia also views itself as having rightful claims to the temples due to closer cultural affinity as successor of the Khmer Empire. The two countries also have large area overlapping maritime claims resulting in continental shelf exclusive economic zone claims announced by Cambodia in 1972 and Thailand in 1973. Memorandum of Understanding signed in 2001 agreed to the joint development of the disputed area of the south of the 11th parallel north, though there has been little progress since. Okay. Talking about Khmer Empire, the Temple of Vihir case. So the ICJ has ruled that it's in Cambodia, and Thailand apparently is upset about that, especially since the temple got named or nominated for World Heritage Site. So, 2025. So we got a whole Wikipedia article for 2025 skirmish here. Following a brief skirmish, Cambodia-Thai border on 20th of May 2025, the territorial dispute between two countries reignited, escalating into a deterioration of relations, and ultimately into direct armed conflict, which began on 24th of July 2025. Since then, as of 26th of July, at least 38 people have been killed in the hostilities, and up to 200,000 have been displaced. Dispute originates from the Franco-Siamese Treaty of 1907 between the Kingdom of Siam, now Thailand, and French Third Republic, the latter of which ruled over the French Indochina. Disputed Priya Vihir Temple was awarded to Cambodia National Court of Justice in 1962, but other disputed borders remain contested. So, where is this temple? Give me give me where this temple is. I want to see the exact temple itself. So if I can do temple. Okay, here we go. So this is where the temple is itself. It's on this border. And to get there, you have to, yeah, obviously to get there, you have to come from Thailand to get to the temple. So there is a road which comes out of Cambodia into Thailand to get to. There looks like there's a trail that zigzags back and forth across the border to get to it. There is some sort of trail here from Thailand, from the village, that goes to the temple. What does the temple look like? Well, it's a pretty temple. So, it's big old limestone rocks up on this cliff overlooking everything. You got more for me? Got more? Got more, baby? Oh, more. So, it looks like some restoration or saving is going on of the temple itself. Oops, come on. Give me more. I mean, that's a pretty ass temple. I'll give you that. Up on a cliff overlooking stuff. What's the view look like from up there? Well, that's a tiny picture. So, yeah. There's more. Lots of ruins in this temple from Khmer Rouge Republic or Khmer. Yeah. It's pretty. Do we have more? Nope. That's not anything. Well, that appears to be what the fight is about. Is that this temple on a cliff, the Thai wanted the border to go like that. And Cambodia got it. Now Cambodia's like finders, keepers, losers, weepers. And that's basically what it comes down to. Is that, so you can see the border here goes along the cliffs. It was demarcated to go along these cliffs because this is the drainage going to Cambodia from the mountains. And it just happened to skip this part. And then still followed the cliff lines all along. But for some reason, where that temple is did not get included. That's pretty crazy that some lazy ass French surveyors in 1907 has now resulted in like people dying and fighter jets flying over places and bombing stuff. That's just, humans are so garbage. I'm sorry, Sarith, that this is what you guys have to deal with over ruins, basically. The cultural ruins at that, they're beautiful, but the fact that people are dying over it seems just so silly. So I'm sorry you gotta deal with that. Sorry you gotta deal with the silliness. It just seems absolutely mind-bogglingly silly to me. I mean, the United States has a spot like this. It's got more people in it. We talked about before, Point Roberts. So we have a spot. Right up here, right by me. So this is Canada. This is Greater Vancouver. And there's a little dingle-dangle. This little bitty peninsula sticks out from there. And that's Point Roberts. That's America. And there's about 1,000 Americans who live here. And their entire life relies upon getting stuff from Canada. Because there's no ferries. There's nothing. So you got to go into Canada to do anything. And you got to import all your stuff from Canada. So this is probably getting to be some real hard living right now. Because the Canadian tourists aren't going to come into Point Roberts. Why the fuck would you come into America? You're going to get hassled no matter what you do. So poor Point Roberts, man. Might as well just give it to Canada at this point. So yeah, we have our own little dingle-dangle that's part of a weird border drawing and been a dispute forever. So yeah, that's what we got. It's crazy to me too that like the United States sticks out into this part as well. Like why? Why even bother? Why not just make it there? I don't know. Border disputes are silly. Sarith says, I'm fine, just frustrated. I can imagine. anytime your country goes to war, it's gonna be frustrating as hell. Even if like it's a stupid war, like a dumb line drawn across like 10 acres of land where Kulikan Temple is. Aaron says, I have some old photos of my grandparents and want to tell me where they were taken. That's why I asked, but thanks. I mean, if anything, send the photos to the super geoguesser guy. He might be like, oh, I know exactly where that is. Heck, maybe I can help find it. Type I want Google tell me. Okay. First Productions, what do you know about the Nikola CEO case involving Hindenburg Research, Southern District of New York, railroading him into prison, ending with Trump pardoning him? Tucker Carlson interviewed him. I don't know much about that. I know that the Nikola guy was doing some shady shit, that's for sure. Like, they pretended like they had a working vehicle, and they didn't. What they did was they pushed the thing downhill and tilted the camera to make it look like it was driving along. It was actually rolling downhill. So they're doing a couple of goofy things. I do think that they definitely got hammered hard, and the company essentially got bankrupted when its stock price collapsed. Whether it was warranted or not, and in fact that Hindenburg was part of it, was probably they were set up to fail, so Hindenburg could profit. So that was probably where it's coming. And if Hindenburg was involved, that means Anson Funds was involved. Anson Funds was involved, that means the mafia was involved. So that's where I'd speculate from. Arya Shadow, is Sifu retiring covered? I arrived like, oh no, I did not talk about that, did I? I totally forgot. Yeah, Doug Sifu got pushed out of Virtue. He is a lightning rod. He basically got banned from hockey for being a drunk asshole earlier this year. And Virtue is facing all sorts of legal problems for their market maker side, front-running trades to their hedge fund side. So the market maker has a whole bunch of different hedge funds that trade under them and everything, right? That are like customers of theirs. And they allowed the Virtue hedge fund access to their market maker computers, which is against the law. They have to be separate entities. And the Virtue hedge fund was front running their competitors' trades and making money off of it. And so they're facing probably billions of dollars in fines. So I would not doubt if Doug Sifu retiring is part of a settlement in all of that. Like, well, we'll let you off the hook and not give you criminal charges if you send this guy packing, that type of thing. So yeah, later Doug Seafood. Go enjoy your forehead. Ronald Rose. Well, I was asking, could card shuffling machine be used to give the casino an advantage? Would it be mathematically possible to alternate the card? Just seems rigged dealer could not lose. I don't know enough about that at all. I know that they put like 8 decks or something into those machines, so it makes it harder and harder to count. Not a clue. I do not know. So, yeah, me, man. I'm sure if it's possible, they figured it out. So, yeah. So he blames the French. Yeah, the Europeans don't know how to draw lines of anything. I mean, all the conflicts in Africa, all the conflicts in the Middle East are the result of bad line drawing by Europeans, man. So, yeah. And Sri says, life's good, just pay your taxes. All right, that's nice. Thank you for joining me for a late night show. We learned some. We looked at some maps. We talked some future potentialities, and I'm going to go to bed. So I'll see you guys for a regular daytime show tomorrow. I want you to have a great day, and peace out, and we will After Dark it again. Shabbat. He's a fat little cat. Oh, he's so fat. He's a little chuggy. Oh, gonna bite me. You're gonna bite me. You're gonna bite me too.